Well, after you have the kind of win you guys had on Saturday, how do you get everyone refocused and looking towards what's to come?
I think it's easy. At the end of the day, it's one game at a time, and that was a great win for the team and for our program. But at the end of the day, we ultimately have goals, and our goals are to every single day come out and do the things that we need to so we can get better and have the opportunity to win the next game.
What are girls extremely excited? Do you have to bring them back down early?
I think the biggest thing, they all were really excited, and I think it was because of those seniors and because of the opportunity to be able to play in front of this crowd that was here, and just the way the game went. I went back and watched the game. Of course, I'm in the moment when the game is going on, and it was a really good game. It just went back and forth, and it could have went either way, I think, and I think that's what made it so, because everybody kept coming up to me after the game was over before, I got to the press room or whatever, and he was talking about how exciting that game was, and I guess when you go back and watch, and, just how it all played out, as far as, the game of runs, and that's basically what you talk about a lot with your team, and that's basically what happened.
With the physicality, the back and forth, one-possession game, what does that do for your team heading into March, where conference tournament, hopefully against NCAAs, you'll be fighting hard and things like that?
Well, I think we've been in that position before this year. Just being in the preseason WNIT and playing some games that we played, going to New York and playing in the Hofstra tournament was the same way against Tulane and Hofstra, and so it is definitely going to help us and prepare us to continue to keep getting better. Again, when you get to late February, this is the time where you should be playing your best basketball, and we just want to keep kind of working on the things that we need to and tweaking the things to continue to keep getting better, and so we're ready to go every time the ball's thrown up.
So Ole Miss beats Kentucky last night. You guys, Ole Miss team you guys beat. Does that do you need any more confidence? But when you see that this many, you think we can hang with teams in that stature, top 10, top 15 teams?
I think that's the one thing about this team. I think they've always thought that, and I think that's what has helped us continue to keep building. When you're in a process where you're trying to continue to keep building a program and getting things to where you're at, you want to have that confidence in your players, to have that type of confidence, and that's what they have. And I think it just starts with, again, the upperclassmen. We're very, very fortunate to have the upperclassmen that we have, and that's, of course, with the seniors, but you also have to look at all the minutes that Micah Jones and Kendall Noble have played, and in those different situations, and I think those things really help us. And again, going to the NCAA last year, playing at Baylor on their home floor, had a lot to do with that too.
Heading to the end of the season, with people knowing the name Alexis Govan and Chesney Gooch, how important are Jones and Noble to do what they did last year in the tournament and to be the X factors for this team?
They've always been huge the whole season. And I think that's the thing that makes this team so great. Of course, again, Chesney Gooch, gets added to the weight watch list, today. Alexis Govan, everybody knows about all the things that she does, but at the end of the day, this is such a team sport. It is across the table, but the most important thing is that's how those players think. And so Micah Jones and Kendall Noble and everyone else understands and knows how important they are for us to have a chance to win. And that's what I think helps keeping us to continue to keep making us better. And we don't want to lose sight of that. We always talk about there's no one player that, of course there's situations where players can win games. We all know that. But at the end of the day, that's why it's a team sport. You have so many players that can do so many things, and I really believe that's why we're where we're at right now, and we're sitting at 23-4 because of that. Because different situations have occurred and different people have stepped up, and that's what it's all about when you have a great team.
For fans who may not realize what an honor it is for Chesney to be for the watch list, can you explain to those fans really what that means?
Well, there's 320-something teams out here, and to be added this late, it says a lot. There was 25 teams, 25 names on the list at first, and then to be added on there, and with the company that's on those lists with all those players, it just speaks a lot for Chastity. And it's sometimes I sit back and marvel. You know, I read, of course, Crystal Kelly was on the last one of the players that was on the list from here. Crystal Kelly is all-time everything here, and she's hanging up in Diddle. And to know that I have the opportunity to coach a player like Chastity Gooch that's in that same ballpark, and that's not taking any credit away from any other players, because there's been a lot of great players that's played here, but it says a lot about Chastity and how hard she's worked for all these, you know, different honors and accolades that she's been able to get. But the greatest thing about Chastity is you could ask Chastity about that, and she would just say thank you and be excited about it, and really don't. That's just not how she looks at things, and that's what makes her special.
A few weeks ago, we were talking on the court, and I think you said we're sitting at 18-4. I'm not going to act like that's not a good record for us after a couple losses. Did these last 5 games serve as proof to your players that even maybe struggling first half or something like that, that when you get back to doing what you're good at doing, that you can hang with just about any team?
Well, I think at the end of the day, what we had to do is go back and refocus, and that's what we talked about. We had to refocus on the things that we needed to do to help continue to get us to the process of where we're at right now. I think the thing that has helped us is we've rebounded better, we've guarded, and we've done some of the fundamental things that we needed to. Still not perfect. We still have a lot to work on. But at the end of the day, when this crunch situation and 5 minutes left to go in the game in middle, we got stops. When we needed offensive rebounds, we got rebounds. So I think those are the things that as a coach you look at, and as a staff we talk about every day, that we just want to continue to keep working on those things so we can be prepared when those situations come.
As a coach, when you're talking to players and you say rebound and guard, seems like 2 pretty simple things to do. Is that harder to get across to players that all we have to do is rebound and guard, or is it easy to say, we're really close, all we have to do is rebound and guard?
I think it depends on the situation. I think, you know, in given situations, and, you know, Saturday's game was, again, very publicized, rivalry game, you know, so it depends on the situation, but in different times, I think that's why you have to come to practice every day and you put them in those positions. But at the end of the day, you have to prepare them to get them ready for the game. We always talk about, as coaches, practice should be that should be the hardest time. The game should be the fun part, and it should be easy. And so the repetition is where that comes in. So I think you can look at it in different ways, but the way we look at it is we try to prepare them and get them ready during practice so they're ready to go when, you know, the game is on the line, and just want them to have fun and enjoy it.
Do you think having an upperclassman kind of laden team is important when you go play teams you've already beaten by 20 points, by 30 points, as far as keeping everyone focused and not, you know, letting the big head come around the team?
Again, I go back and say this team has never been that type of team, and I think I've been very fortunate. The staff and I, since we've been here, we don't have teams that think like that. I think they understand and know, especially because you know, again, we lost at UTSA. We've lost, so they understand and know that everybody laces their shoes up the same and come out, and they understand now and know that, you know, when you're in the position of being the #1 team in the conference, everybody's going to come after you a little bit more. So I think they understand and know that, and we just try to make sure that we stay in the process of doing the things the same way that we've been doing them across the board all season.
With the way that Jalen played, giving you guys that spark on Saturday, you going to start Hurricane this week, or bring her back off the bench?
Yeah, we just, that's what we're going to go with. That start for Jalen was huge for us. But that was a game situation, and the reason why we did that, and so that's how we assess every game when we go in, and it's just been we've been very fortunate, and it's worked out really good for us that you know, that same starting lineup has been really good for us, and again, like you said, Jalen did really well. So as a staff, that's something that we'll have to assess and go back and continue to just make sure about matchups and everything and what we need to do against FAU. Thank you.